met to touch base because it's been a little while and check in on the progress of the survey and then start talking about some next steps. So I've got the agenda out. The first thing I want to ask, is there anybody new to this call who's not been on before?
Hi. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Yes, I can hear you. Do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to the group?
Sure, yes. I'm Vin Tran. I'm a survey scientist at 23andMe, and we are looking to do OMA mapping ourselves with our surveys. So I saw this group and I'm excited to join.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I think we emailed, right?
That's
Then,
correct.
yeah. All right. Great. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Yeah, you're coming in at a good time, especially since surveys are your area. So thank you for introducing yourself. And I think, Yang Mei, you've been with us
Hello.
before, right? Or are
Yeah,
you
so
new?
this is my first time. So
Ah,
hello everyone.
hi.
Yeah, I've been meaning to join the meeting, but kept missing the previous ones. So I'm Yang Mei Li, and I'm a senior data scientist from the UK Biobank team. So yeah, we are looking at the OMOP formatted data, and would like to know more about that. So that's why I'm here. So yeah, keen to learn more about that.
Great. Very happy to have you both joining us. All right. So welcome to the group. And like I said, you came at a good time because we're trying to move forward with our own survey. So for a little bit of background, this group is relatively newly formed. This is our first year having our work group. And we decided our priority for this year should be figuring out what individuals and groups have already done in terms of working with surveys and OMOP. So over the course of the year, we have had several speakers come, UK Biobank and all of us, and share their experiences with trying to work with survey data and OMOP. And then we're also getting ready to launch a landscape survey. And so the purpose of the survey is to get information from the Odyssey community as to those who have tried or would like to work with survey data and OMOP, figure out what things they've been able to use successfully, so we don't reinvent any wheels, but also what's needed, which will help us set our priorities for the tasks we want to take on in the next year. Yeah, so the point we're at now is we have a pretty good draft of the survey. I'm going to pull that up in a minute, and we're getting ready to code the survey into, I think we're going to give it a shot with the Google version and see how that goes, and then share it out with this group and some of the other leads from Odyssey. Sorry, I'm froggy today. I was at a conference last week, and that's always a lot of talking. Matter of fact, the Odyssey conference last week. So, and then share it out with some of the leads to get some feedback. And then we will send it out to the community, and we'll be able to introduce it on one of the community calls. The other thing I was going to say, for links to all this and past meetings, we do have a group wiki. Layla, would you mind putting the link to the wiki in the chat? Thank you. And then we'll include it in the minutes. But that way, for those of you who are new or those who've missed some meetings you want to catch up, all of our minutes and meeting recordings are in the wiki. All right, so just I'll pause there and see if there are any questions, and then we'll start talking about the survey. All right, so let me go ahead and shift to our current version of the survey. I just had it open. There we go. Okay, so the current version of the survey is inbox. Everybody who's in on the meeting invite should have also gotten an invite to this document. I know, Tamara, it's a problem for you because your organization doesn't have Box. If anybody else doesn't have access to Box, let me know, and I'm happy to mail you a copy. And I don't expect to, sorry, I'm really froggy. hopefully that helps. I'm not going to go through it point by point now. I just kind of wanted to go through so you kind of see the current state of it. So Layla took together the comments that had been made on the earlier draft, along with yours, Tamara, since you had to do it in a separate, yeah, I saw that. Monty, yeah, I'll make sure you have access to it through your email address. And then, yeah, so Layla has been incorporating the comments. And so then there are a couple things that she left in here for me to take a look at, but it's still, I'll just give the gist, the overview as to where we are now. So we've got some language for the start of the survey. We've got it broken down into multiple sections to kind of give some information about, general information about the survey itself, all of our different countries. Lots of countries you could be doing your survey in. And then information about the development of the survey and the purpose. So the other thing that will be nice about implementing this is it'll be for both people who've completed surveys, but we're also inviting those who are just planning it. So they are allowed to say if they're just in the process of planning that process, and if they already know things like how often they're going to administer it, or what method they plan to administer it, things like that. So it'll also be nice to know who is wanting to start moving with surveys. And then this last section, C, is just about once you've got the data, how are you organizing and planning to analyze the data? And then some questions just as to what their experience with using OMOP in the survey was. So for the most part, where we can, we have put in categories. We all know the categories are easier to analyze, but we have left some options for free text responses if their answer is other. We've also left options for them to include contact information. So if we'd like to contact them to ask further questions, or even see if they're willing to participate on the committee and help us, or the work group, and help us with some things. So, so that is sort of where we are. And then, like I said, our next step is we're going to try doing this in Google Forms. I will ask for feedback from the Odyssey community as to how long we should leave the survey open, because I know we've had other community surveys and I would like to get their expertise in it. But what I'm hoping is that we can launch this in the next week or so, maybe close it at the end of November, beginning of December, and then start on the analyses at the end of this year and beginning of next year, so that we can set our objectives and key results for 2025. So I'll pause and see if there's any questions or suggestions. And then I did want to get some feedback on thoughts for analyses, and if there are any objections to using Google Forms or something that you think would be better. I can go back to the agenda for that.
Which is not addressing the question you just asked exactly. But are we confident that sending this to the OMOP community as planned is going to capture everyone who's done this, or are there other places that we need to go to find
That's
all of the studies that
really
have
good
done this?
question. Yeah. I would like to think the community is, because most people have to interact with the community to pull this off. I don't know how often it's successfully done in isolation. That said, we should think about what methods we can get it out besides the community call, because obviously not everybody is going to be on the community call. So there is an OMOP or Odyssey weekly newsletter, so we could have it put in there. We can certainly put it in the wiki and direct anybody, that's probably where we'll launch it from anyway, is the wiki. So we can direct people there. I'm open to suggestion as to other forums in which we might be able to Okay, yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
what Monty said.
Yeah, that's a
that's
good
coming
one.
up in a couple of weeks, so we can
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
give a spiel about it. You're organizing it, right? You're DCG, so you can you can
Yeah.
ask for a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there's
yeah.
an there's an interoperability working group, and there is another session where Jay is talking. So I think there are a couple of sessions where it could be mentioned, and maybe they will agree to send it to the members after the meeting. But
Yeah, that
unless
would
you
be
want
great.
the survey filled in before the next 2 weeks.
I think it'll be at least open during that period of time. I really don't see us building it for less than a month. So I think even if
Yes,
we
I
launch
agree.
it before then,
Yeah, so the timing is
um,
great then.
it'll
Yeah.
still be open. Yeah, that worked out. I was kind of hoping we'd get it done before Odyssey so I could promote it there, but that did not happen. But at least we can promote it on the community call, and I love the idea of promoting it at the consortium as well. Any other questions or suggestions? I really like those. I think that's a good way to reach other groups. And then of course, if they know other people, they can always forward it too. So hopefully we'll get a good response. All right. Any other comments on administering or getting the word out about it? I appreciate that comment, Tamara, and your response, Monsi. Okay, so then the next topic is the analyses. So some of it will be fairly easy tallying type analyses, but we are anticipating getting some free text. So one of the things I did want to ask the group about is who, if anyone, has experience themselves or someone on their team with analyzing free text responses.
We don't have that many free text, do we?
We have a few. There's some things relative to basically if this doesn't apply other, those should be simple. But I think there's some short questions at the end that lets them elaborate about their experience with trying to map to OMOP.
I guess it
Deploying
would
a resource.
depend on the numbers we get. If it's not
Yeah.
overwhelming, I think the easiest thing would be to just read it like a human.
Yeah.
If we get really complex, then we can talk to our large language model colleagues. But it seems like it might be easier if it's not a lot. I doubt there will be so much. It might be better just to wait and just read it at the beginning.
See what we get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jim?
Yeah, good morning. Kristen on our team did a content analysis of, I want to say, 13,000 responses on our most
wow,
recent
okay.
survey. But this was same thing. It was a Qualtrics survey 2017 to 2019. And it was the first time we had asked about a couple of sensitive topics, particularly SOGI status and cannabis use. And what we were looking for in reviewing those open-ended responses was, to be very blunt, were any participants so angry that they might consider quitting? And we wanted to respond to those right away.
Yeah.
We have a manuscript describing it. We started analyzing. When she did a content analysis, then because she reviewed all of the comments, looked for keywords, coded them by topic, and then we could go back and analyze the demographics of who responded and how they responded. But as you said, Monsi, the number one step to doing that was to read those comments in real time as they came in and kind of immediately start tagging them so we could come back to them later.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I don't know if if we should expect 550, 500. I don't think we'll get 13,000. I'm pretty confident on that end. But yeah, I'm not sure, if we'll get more than we want to try to process manually. But I do appreciate the idea of looking at them and tagging them as they're coming in. That's very helpful. Layla?
Yeah, Jonas gave a demo about how to do this during Fair Friday this week. So I just saw
cool.
it. And since this doesn't have any our big concern was for the other project we're working on that it has PII in it, but I don't think this will. So I think we can just use like Gemini or something like that without any concerns if there are more than we can manually do.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful. All right, well, that sounds good. I like this as a plan. Tag as we get things, and once we see what the scope is, decide on a way to do it, and we can look at content analysis or also getting some assistance from AI, like Gemini. So that sounds good. So I think that was the last thing on my list. Once we have it in the Google Forms, then like I said, we'll share it out to the group like a test version. So it'll give the group another chance to review the survey itself, see if there's any questions or glitches, and also get an idea for how much time it takes. If you don't have your own survey experience, like if you can answer it honestly as to survey stuff you're getting, great, then we'll have that recorded. If you haven't worked with a survey, then put in pretend data and just put a comment somewhere that this is pretend because you're just trying to get through the survey. And then once we have that, we'll see if there's anything we need to change or fix before launching it with the group. And our next meeting is in 2 weeks. I'm hoping we can launch it before then, but I will stay in touch via our email thread about where things are and when we're ready for individuals to start testing it, and then we will go from there. And then I was also going to ask how many of you are going to be at the cohort consortium in 2 weeks, give or take. So I will be there. Tamara, Monty, Jim. All right, great. I'm looking forward to Layla. Looking forward to seeing Katie. Great. Okay, good. It'll be really nice to see everyone in person. And we'll have that interoperability group, which I think will probably be a good place for us to talk about this with a larger group a little bit. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. So that is all I have for today. Anything else before we close up, and then you have a bonus 40 minutes to your day, which is always nice on a Monday. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of
Thank
your
you.
week, and I will keep you posted when we're ready for you to test. Bye.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.